I don't really know where to begin, but I'll just start with the night before. I slept at my friend Sam's house, and Sam and I were gonna go to bed at like midnight, and I honestly could not sleep because I was like so excited and so nervous and everything, and I went to sleep at like 2, and then we woke up at 6:30 a.m. So I wasn't even tired. Like, I think it's because I was looking forward to doing something that like I wasn't even thinking about how. Did the camera just move? That's kind of scary. So, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about how tired I was when I woke up. I was just thinking about going and how nervous I was and everything. Probably just the fact that I was meeting them, like, got me nervous, I guess. So, it's 6:30 a.m. I'm wide awake. I start doing my hair. I like curled it the night before, so I just touch it up, and then I get dressed. A floral pattern skirt with a black crop top and then a white cardigan, which you'll see in like my pictures and stuff. And when we're finished getting ready, it's like 8 a.m. and we're about to get picked up by our friends Tyler and Ariel to go to the venue. So we get to the venue around, I want to say 8:45 a.m. and we're not even in the front of the line. There's a ton of girls in front of us, but a lot of them have general admission and we have VIP. So there's like 10 VIP in front of us. So we wait outside and everything. The doors open at 1 o'clock. So 1 o'clock comes around and we start getting in the VIP line, and then he starts checking off our tickets. We walk up these stairs, and then when you get to the top of the stairs, there's like a railing, and then behind the railing you can see Jack Galinsky, Jack Johnson, Sam, Nate, Jake, and then it just like goes through the rest of the meet and greet lines. So you meet Jack and Jack first. And when we first walk in, Jack like walks over by the railing and he was like looking at me, and I didn't know if he was looking at me or where he was looking. So then like I like waved to see if he was looking at me, and I was like, and then he was like, and I was like, did Jack just wink at me? Okay, I can't wink, so make fun of me, but he did that with his mouth. I'm not like doing that. And then like 5 minutes later, it is our turn, and I am so nervous. So first my friend Jessica goes, and I'm like watching her like, oh my god. And then they're like, okay, your turn. And I was like, what am I gonna say? Like, I had stuff to say, but I didn't really know what I was gonna say at that point. And when I walk up to them, I'm like, I've been watching you guys' Vines since like last September, and it's crazy that this is what it's come out to be. Like, you guys make such good music, and you have this tour going on, and this is just insane, and I'm like really glad that I was here for it. They're like, yeah, this is like really crazy, like we never expected it to be like this, all this stuff. And they were saying how like they appreciate me so much and all this stuff, and it was like the cutest thing. So then after I'm like talking with them for a little bit, and after we take our pictures, I go over, and Jake Fushi, he like pulls my hands and he's like, whoa, you shouldn't be talking to them, you should be talking to me. And Jack kind of looks at him. You're the girl from my dreams last night. I know I was supposed to meet you. And he was like saying a bunch of cute stuff to people, and it was like so cute. And then he like grabbed my phone, he took like 5 selfies, and then he was like, what's your name? And then I like told him everything, and we were talking, and then like the lady was like making us like move along. So then I walked over to Sammy and I hugged him, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so good to meet you. And he's like, oh, you too, like how are you, all this stuff. And then he's like, are we gonna selfie this? And there was no one to take my picture for me at the time, because like the meet and greets are moving so fast, and like you kind of had to take your own pictures. So I was like, yeah, I guess we're going to. And then like we took 2. I took one with me smiling, and then one of like, yeah, that kind of face. And then for the third one, I was like putting my phone down, but then he like kissed me on my cheek, and I didn't like ask him to or anything, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I like, put my phone back up, and we took another picture like that. And then I went to Nate, and Nate was like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, I like your outfit a lot. And I was like, oh, well, he's got a passion for the fashion. Stupid joke, don't laugh. But yeah, so then I met Nate, and he was like really cool. And then I walked over to the other special guests, and I was just talking with everybody for a little bit and waiting for my friends to get done. So after the meet and greet, we head back outside and get into the line again. So after all the VIPs went, we were waiting, and doors opened at 3 for the actual show. So we start to go in, and it just starts pouring, like, as we're about to walk in. So people start running up to us, and they're like, you guys cannot go to the show. You guys will be to the back of the line if you keep pushing us. People were, like, shoving to get in since it was, like, pouring rain and stuff. So a bunch of, like, random general admission people just ran up by us and got, like, front row to the show, and I was like, okay. So then me and my friends who were there, like, 10th, got kind of, like, bad seats, but they were still in the front row, so I'm, like, not at all complaining. I'm just, like, kind of annoyed about the general admission people or whatever. And so the show starts, and they come out as, like, their Eric and Winston characters, and it's just so funny, and they're so cute, and then they perform songs, and they sound amazing, and Jack Johnson, like, kept coming over to our side of the stage, and he would, like, sit in front of us, and, like, he sang during distance, and he, like, took selfies on my phone and, like, on everybody else's phone. Yeah, and Galinsky came over by us a few times, and then, like, Nate was, like, really toward our side, and then Sammy kept coming, like, a little bit toward our side, but more towards the middle, and then same with Galinsky. The show was, like, so, like, upbeat, and it was just so hype, and they were amazing. Like, everybody was amazing. Cody Johns has the voice of an angel, and I did not know that, and he's also, like, one of the sweetest guys ever. I'm not kidding. So after the show, me and my friend Jessica have backstage passes. So we are, like, waiting for everybody to clear out of the floor area because it is super crowded and stuff, and we're just waiting for everybody to clear out, and then we go towards the backstage area, and there's, like, a different, like, group of, like, 4 girls who had to go before us, and so I kind of liked going second because then we kind of had more time since there weren't people after us waiting. So there was, like, 7 people with backstage total probably. We went, and then they were like, oh my god, like, all the stuff, like, when they were walking out, so then I was, like, getting nervous, and then we walked down there, and Jack and Jack are both shirtless. And Cody Johns comes to me, and he's like, hey, and I was like, oh, hey, talking to him, he's like, oh my god, I love your name. He's like, let's get a picture, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So then I got a picture with him, and he's like, I'm sorry I have to go so fast, that's why I wanted to meet you first, but, you know, all this stuff. So then he, like, took pictures with us, and then he left, and then we were just, like, standing in front of Galinsky, and, like, we didn't know who was gonna go first or whatever. Then Galinsky's like, who's first? And I was like, I guess I am. And he's like, what's your name? And he's, how are you? And all this stuff, and we're talking, he's like, so sorry, I'm all sweaty and gross. And then my friend Jessica's like, we don't care, you're shirtless. And it was true. And then I was like, yeah, we're all kind of gross. Like, we were getting so pushed, and there was so much body heat on us, and I was like, yeah, I, like, felt bad for you guys. It was, like, a mosh pit. And then we were just, like, talking to him about that for a few minutes. I wanted to go over to Jack Johnson because, like, oh my god, hi Jack, like, let's get a picture. He's like, all this stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, for sure. And then I was talking to him just about, like, Twitter and stuff, and then I brought up my friend Madison. We wanted him to get a video for her, and then he got it, and I was like, yeah, you, like, tweeted her yesterday, and or the other day, and he's like, oh really, what did I say? And I told him, and he's like, oh my god, yeah, I remember tweeting that. So, like, Jake and Sammy were, like, kind of, like, listening to our conversation while I was talking to Jack, and they would just, like, kind of, like, chime in at different times and stuff. And then I went over to Sammy, and I was talking to him, and I was like, how are you? And he's like, well, I'm fantastic now that you're down here. Love of my life. Like, He's so cute, and he's actually super... I'm not kidding, like, these were the nicest guys ever. And then Jake Fushi kept, like, coming in, like, saying how he was, like, a Johnson girl. He's like, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm for sure a Johnson girl. And he kept asking me if I was a Johnson girl. He's like, you're a Johnson girl, right? And then finally he's like, comes up to me, and he's like, I think you're a Sammy girl. You look like a Sammy girl. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then he's like, so I was right. And I was like, well, I like them all. And he's like, that's not the right answer. And I was like, I'm a Jake girl, to be honest. I don't know how long we were down there exactly, but it seems like I had, like, pretty long conversations with all of them. And, I kind of just felt like we were, like, hanging out. But then the guy was like, all right, you guys are going to start taking showers soon and everything. Nate was talking to me about, just, like, him performing and how far he's come. And he was just super cool. And he's actually, like, really good stage presence. He, like, let me follow myself on his phone. And my 2 other friends, we all got follows from him. So we hung out with them for 10, 15 minutes. I don't even know. A while, like a long time, and like fangirl time, because that's a real thing. But yeah, it just felt like a really long time, even though it was like under a half hour. Like, that's like a lot. So yeah, the people backstage, there's like 2 areas of the backstage. All the special guests were like in a separate room, so we didn't really talk to them because they weren't like by us. Cody at first was there, but then he like walked away. So then it was just Jack, Sammy, Nate, Jake. I feel like that's it. Yeah, so it was just them, and then me and my friend Jessica, and me and my friend Janjali. I have a cork board that I've been, like, working on. Not really working on, but I, like, get pictures developed, and I literally took so many pictures from it off. I took so many off and, like, replaced them with some of my meet and greet pictures from Jack and Jack. But I forgot to get a lot of pictures developed, so it is not complete, but... And then I was talking to Jack Johnson. I think I talked to Jack Johnson the longest out of all of them because I, like, had more topics to talk about with him, and then Galinsky and Sammy. No, I talked to Nate a lot, too. I don't know. I had, like, full-on conversations with, like, all of them, so it was pretty cool. And, they were shirtless, so that's a bonus. But, yeah, so everybody's been asking me how I got my shirtless pictures with Galinsky, so that's my answer, is in this video. We went backstage. When I was waiting for Nate, like, because he was talking to someone else, I was like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to go back and talk to Sammy again. So then I, like, took selfies with Sammy. And then I was going to take another selfie with Galinsky because I didn't take a selfie with him yet. And then I was like, let's take a selfie, Jack. And he's like, oh, yeah, for sure. And then the guy, like, told us to move. And then he's like, but first, let us take a selfie. And I was like, and I just, like, looked at him. He's like, that was lame, I know. And I just started laughing because... Oh, and then Galinsky told me that he thinks he recognizes my user and thinks he sees me on his timeline. And I was like, then why do you never favorite my tweets? I was like, you need to start favoriting more because you, like, barely ever do that. When Jessica was taking her picture with Galinsky, Jake was, like, trying to, like, move his hand down. And then Jack's like, sorry, he's, like, trying to make me touch your butt. And then I was like, she wouldn't mind that, I don't think. While backstage, like, I didn't even feel nervous, and I thought I was going to be super nervous, but, like, once you get into a conversation with them, you honestly, it just starts, like, flowing. It honestly felt like we were, like, friends. I don't know what else to talk about, because I can't remember, like, specific conversations I had with them, but all I know is that I had a lot of time to talk to each of them, and, yeah, it was super fun seeing them. I feel like there's so much I didn't go over in this video, so if you have questions for me or anything, my Twitter is GalinskyOK, and I'll put the link in my bio. I'll put more videos of them performing after this. So thank you for watching. I'm going to try to start posting more stuff, but I don't really have any ideas, so I'll ask on Twitter or something, but yeah. Thanks.
another summer's day. Watch the sun fade away. All I gotta say is we'll never trade away from it all.